Hello, 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 everybody. Wait, let me turn this around. What's up, everybody? This is Tawanda Sims. When I was in Periscope, I used to come on live like this. My name is Tawanda Sims. I am from the beautiful city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we create visions with style. For those of you who don't know me, I am kind of cray-cray, but I want to first start out by saying, Lorna, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for those kind words. When you was doing my introduction, I was looking like, who is she talking about? Is she talking about me? But Lorna, thank you so much for inviting me to speak in the group. This is quite an honor to speak to all of you. I know you Facebook takes a little bit of time to send that notification out. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes before I get started. But I truly, truly am honored, Lorna, to be speaking in your group. And for those of you who are coming in or who's going to watch the replay, hello, Lisa, who's going to watch the replay, you guys Lorna is a gem. You guys are blessed to have such a passionate leader in this group who is concerned about the success of your business. And if you haven't told her thank you in a long time, you need to send Lorna some love because she is truly, truly passionate about this group and passionate about your success. So before I get started, what I want to do is I want to have you guys, for those of you who are coming on, hello everybody, hello, thank you so much. I want to have you guys, if you have an active business where your business is open and you're running your business, I want you to write down a 1 and write down the name of your business. If you have not actually opened your business yet, you're still trying to figure it all out, write down that vision and then write down a number 2. And we'll talk about that later. So before I get started, I'm not going to go ahead and go over my bio and talk about and go over everything that Lorna said about me and what I've done, because you can read it a little bit later or you can watch the replay and hear about it. But what I do want to share with you that she did not share is that, yes, I am a certified wedding planner and events planner. Yes, I am a certified meeting planner. Yes, I am the creator of the Let's Plan Bridal and Wedding Extravaganza. Yes, I am a smiler. I was on the Lay's brand. I am a Lay's ambassador. My smile was on Lay's potato chip bag across every store shelf in America. But 2 things out of all of those accolades that are very important to me most. The first thing is that I am married to an amazing man who's very supportive, who's very loving, who always have my back. His name is Michael Schaff, and you guys have probably heard me say that, who've heard me go live, that his real name is Michael Sims, but you can't call him that. You got to call him Schaff. So I want to thank my husband for always supporting me. Mike and I does not have any biological kids, but we have 6 beautiful children, 8 grandkids, and a brand new great-grandson. So they keep us pretty busy. That's the first thing that I'm proud of. The second thing that about everything that Lorna said about me and what I've done is the fact that the best position of all that I have, that I carry under my belt, is that I am in the people business. I serve people. I have been serving people for as long as I can remember. I was an armor bearer for my former bishop and his wife for 10 years. And I remember my bishop telling me, hey, Benita, hey, everybody. I remember my bishop telling me that the fact that I served the woman and man of God, that God was going to give me back blessings 100-fold. And I can tell you that my bishop was right, because God is truly blessing me. He's blessing our home. He's blessing our family, and he's blessing my business. So, hello to everybody. I'm going to get started. I just wanted to say thank you so much again, Lorna, for inviting me. When Lorna asked me to speak to you all, I went back and forth about what I was going to say and how I was going to say it. I even wrote down some notes, but I just decided after hitting this button to go live and after praying about what I was going to say is that I was just going to shoot from the hip, because most of you who know me know that what comes up comes out. So I'm just going to speak from my heart and share with you why I think it's important that you should do you and stay in your lane, because it's very important that you do exactly it is that what you want to do instead of doing what everybody else is doing. So tonight, allow me a few minutes to share with you why I feel you should stay in your lane. So when you hear the phrase stay in your lane, what do you think about that phrase? Is it a negative phrase to you? Is it positive? What do you think about when you hear the phrase stay in your lane? Well, I Googled it, and Google says, and I wrote it down, Google says the phrase stay in your lane is used as a term of admonishment or advice against those thoughts or opinions on a subject about which they viewed as having insufficient knowledge or ability. I'm going to repeat that. Google says it's a term used of admonishment or advice against those who expresses thoughts or opinions on a subject about which they are viewed as having insufficient knowledge or ability. In other words, Google meaning is mind your business, stick with what you know. And that's what Google says. My opinion about stay in your lane is do you. Do you means when you realize that other people's opinion about you does not matter. Do you. Do you means do whatever you need to do to make it happen. Now, what is it? Whatever your it is, make it happen. Do you. Do you means doing something without the fear of judgment or rejection. Do you. You see, it's okay to marvel over somebody else's work and what somebody else is doing, but you got to stay in your lane. You can't get so caught up in what everybody else is doing and how they're doing it or while they're doing it that you forget about the fact that it's about you. It's about you. I remember when I first started my business, we started out in this wedding industry. I was a caterer. I was a florist. I was a producer. I was the events manager. We did everything. My team was stretched out. I used to rent vans and go to my warehouse. I have a warehouse full of inventory right now because when I first started, I tried to do everything. Why? Because when I did events, I used to look at what everybody else was doing, and I used to say, why am I paying them to come out and set up a catering buffet area when all I got to do is go out to Home Depot or Restaurant Depot and buy these fancy buffet trays and set up my own catering buffet? Why am I hiring a linen company to come out and put these linens on the table when my team can do that? I have a warehouse full of linen right now. Every color, every style, every you name it, we got it. Sitting in my warehouse. I have vases in my warehouse because I would watch florists come out with their flowers, and then I would watch them pick vases out of a box, put it on a table, and decorate it. Why am I paying them to do that when we can do that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I wore my people out. I used to hire caterers and tell them what we did was just do drop and go. Just do a drop and go. And we'll set up the buffet table. And I used to tell the florists, just deliver the flowers and we'll take it from there. I used to go have my assistant go to the linen company, over the top linen. Some of you may be familiar with that. over the top linen and pick up the linen. And we would do it. Wore us out. Rent a van. Had my husband, my stepson, picking up vans, going to the warehouse, loading. Oh my God. It was horrific. Until one day I had a rude awakening. And I met with my team and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I have tried to copy cats, but they weren't the right cats. So I decided to regroup with my team, and I said to my team, listen, we're going to restructure. We're not going to be setting up buffet tables anymore. We're not going to be playing florist anymore. We're not going to be playing a linen pickup service anymore, because that same linen that I have in my warehouse, when I bought it and used it, didn't realize that now I got to use 25 linens because most of my events are 200 plus people. Now I got to take all that linen and put it in my trunk of my car and drive it to a cleaner and now I'm getting tired of even thinking about it. So we decided to restructure. What I did was I decided to figure out what about my business that I truly love doing. What was I good at? What were we good at? We were good at managing. We were good at logistics. We was good at putting all the puzzles together and executing. When I met with my team and told them that, man, I got high fives. They was loving me, hugging me, because I realized at that point that they were wore out, but they weren't going to say anything to me, but they was over it. But because now my team is not in this. Only one of my team members are in this business full time. The rest of them are part-timers because one of them is an attorney, one of them is an educator, one of them is a designer. So I use them, and they've been with me for 8 years, all of them. I don't have high turnover. They've been with me. So whatever I told them to do, they do it. Whenever I had an event, they was there. And some of you who know me probably have seen the same people that are following me. But when I told them that we were going to not be doing this anymore, they were excited. They was happy. Now, my company and my team, we have a word that we use whenever we do an event, and it's called lane. The word is lane. Because once we restructure, everybody has a lane. I have a guest services manager. I have a programs manager. I have a floor manager. I have a catering manager or a sous chef. He's a chef, so he takes care of all the food and makes sure that the caterer is on point, that food is, I guess you call them maitre d's. And I am the boss. So, and the only time they use that word lane is when they telling me to stay in my lane, because I be cutting in everybody's lane. But once we all identify our lanes, it was beautiful. Now we were able to deliver a quality product service. And when at the end of our service, we would actually come home and regroup and not be dog dead tired. So we created our own lanes. Now, what you have to do is remember to do you. Stay in your lane. Do you means do enough to do what others don't to get what others want. So what am I saying? Stay in your lane. There's only one direction that you need to look, and that's straight ahead. You know how you drive in a car? And you in the lane, and you driving, and you look to the left like, ooh, that's a nice car. But you back in your lane. Or you look to the right, that's a nice house. But you back in your lane. Stay in your lane. Straight ahead. Everything that you've done or didn't do, everything that you didn't do from this moment on, that's in the past. Focus on now. Focus on right now. We have a lot of time on our hand. We have this quarantine time so that we can really start thinking about what it is that we really want to do, what it is that we're really good at, so that you can stay in your lane. Now, I'm not saying not to marvel over somebody else's work. I'm not saying to look at what somebody else is doing, but do that for inspiration, not to be a copycat. So what I want to do now is I want to give you 3 quick tips on what I feel, how I feel, that will help you either get focused or stay focused. Remember, I asked some of you at the beginning of my broadcast how many of you are actively working in your business, or some of you that have a vision and that you're going to be starting your business. Remember, I asked you that for a reason, because when I go back and watch the replay, there's a reason why I want to see how many people are actually working in their business, or which ones of you that really need help staying in your lane. So my 3 quick tips is, number 1 is motivation. Get your mind right. Figure out your why. Why did you decide to open up your business? Why did you decide to be a wedding planner? Why did you decide to be a designer, a florist, or whatever it is that you're doing in the wedding industry? What is your why? I can't answer that for you. Lorna can't answer that for you. No one can answer your why. You have to revisit why you did it. Did you do it because you did a birthday party for your family member and you decided you wanted to be a planner? Did you do it because you just love fresh flowers and you know how to produce a beautiful bouquet and you decided to be a florist? What's your why? Do you know your purpose? Do you know what matters most to you in your business? That's what you got to figure out. I can't figure that out for you. Lorna can't figure that out for you. When you have a clear sense of purpose, whatever your clear sense of purpose is, that's what you need to focus on. Focus on what matters most. Get your mind right. Revisit your why and start there. That's number 1, the motivation. When your heart and your mind connect, then that's when the motivation comes in. Number 2, education. If you got the learning, if you got the burning, get the learning. I remember when I first started my business, a friend of mine, I got in the wedding business because my program director, who's my best friend, who's also an MC, Veronica Jackson, was being hired to do weddings. I would go with Veronica to assist her. So she started out being my boss. Now I'm her boss. To assist her with her receptions because she emceed receptions, right? So I got bitten by the wedding bug. So as I'm sitting there with Veronica to assist her, I used to see a lot of things happening and a lot of details. And, for example, I'm at this one wedding and they were supposed to jump the broom, and I'm sitting in the back of the church because even though we were just working the reception, we would always go to the rehearsal, and we would always go to the wedding. So we would be sitting in the back of the church waiting on our time to go on, and this one particular bride was supposed to jump the broom, and the broom is in the back of the church by me. And I'm like, I know. Now, mind you, I had no idea about weddings because I was not in the wedding industry. My background is human resources, corporate America. I come from a human resources background. But I knew well enough to know that if they was going to jump the broom, they couldn't jump the broom from the back of the church. I knew that. I was that smart. So it comes to time, so those are the things that I started to pick up on in the wedding industry and during these weddings, the little details that was being missed because the bride would have her mom doing the wedding, or the bride would have her best friend helping her with the wedding. That particular wedding, when that broom was in the back of the church, and I remember when the pastor turned the couple around and said, and now, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mr. and Mrs., and I can't remember the couple's name. And once I declare them man and wife, they would jump the broom. I looked over at the cousin who was freaking out to the left because the broom, she started looking for the broom. There was a little boy sitting beside me, and this is a true story. The little boy was sitting beside me, and he was dressed fairly cute. He was at the wedding, wasn't in the wedding. I gave the little boy the broom, and I said, "This is what I want you to do, boy, sir. Little boy, I want you to take this broom, and you see the lady to the left? Yes, ma'am. You see the lady to the right? Yes, ma'am. I want you to walk down this aisle, and I want you to put the broom right in the middle of the floor between those two ladies. Can you do that for me?" He said, "Yes, ma'am." He had to be about 8 or 9, so he can take directions fairly well. When the pastor said they're going to jump the broom, she in the left started freaking out. Here comes this little boy walking down the aisle. Had no clue. They looking like, okay, he laid it down. And I told him, when you put it down, come right back to me. So it's things like that you have to, that I wasn't aware of. I just did it because I knew that they couldn't jump the broom from the back of the church. And if they could have jumped the broom from the back of the church, that would have been epic. Okay, let me go back. So I knew then, so people started asking me for my card. Do you do weddings? Do you do weddings? After a few more weddings with Veronica, people started asking me, do you do weddings? Do you do weddings? No, I don't do weddings. I'm just here to help my friend. Well, you should, because you're very organized. You're very detailed. And I'm like, how? But because I was helping my friend. So this one particular girl reached out to me and said she wanted me to do her wedding. And I said to her, listen, I'm not a wedding planner. I don't do weddings. But you know what? I love weddings, and I want to help you out. So what I'll do for you, and this is my very first wedding, Dee Dee and AJ. I saw them the other day. I said to them, what I'll do, I don't know what to charge you. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But because I've never done this before, I'm going to be very transparent with you. But if I do your wedding and it turns out great, then guess what? You got a nice wedding. If I do your wedding and I screw it up, I didn't charge you nothing, so charge it to my head and not my heart. So when she told me, when I met with them and she told me about her wedding, she had her wedding at this all-inclusive venue. Now, this was back in 2009. This was back in 2009 when I first started doing this with Veronica. And I figured, well, if it's an all-inclusive venue, it can't be that hard. You know, everything was there, the caterer, the DJ, the photographer. It was that kind of package that when you go to this particular venue, you get everything. So I'm like, well, how hard could it be? I mean, I've managed 17 recruiters and 5 salespeople, and I have my own branch. How hard could it be to manage a wedding? I've seen it enough. Epic fail, in my opinion. They thought it was the best wedding since sliced bread. But in Tawanda's opinion, epic fail. And the reason why I say that is because the day that we did that wedding, they had 200 people. There was things that was happening that I had no knowledge of how to take care of. For example, the morning of the wedding, the limousine company did not arrive on time. They were calling me, the limo's not here, the limo's not here. Tawanda calling the office. I think it was A1A limo, calling the office. This is what I was getting. Thank you for calling A1A Limousine. Our offices are closed. What? Your office can't be closed. We got a wedding. Please leave a number. Please dial 1 for this. Please dial 2. And I'm like, what the hell do you mean the office is closed? I hung up, I dialed again. Thank you for calling A1 Limousine. The office is closed. What did I learn from that? You cannot ask for the driver's number. I didn't know that back then. There were so many things that went wrong that day. They were all behind the scenes, but I had no knowledge of what to do. I came home feeling like I failed Dee Dee and AJ, but I didn't in their opinion. But in my opinion, I failed them. So what I decided to do, I said I would never, ever do anybody else's wedding without getting some knowledge under my belt. I don't care. Weddings are an investment. People invest too much money. It was not fair to them. They relied on me to produce a flawless event, and I failed them, in my opinion, because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the education. So I decided to go out and get the learning. I started to do my research because, again, I'm not in the wedding industry. I didn't know who's who were the experts in the wedding industry. So I started doing my research. I started searching best of the best in the wedding industry. Who was the top wedding planners in Fort Lauderdale? Who was the top wedding educators in Fort Lauderdale? Couldn't find nobody. There were some people here, but I just didn't know. So what I decided to do was let me research wedding conferences, wedding workshops, wedding planner workshops. I started just going at Wedding Wire, all of this stuff. So I started getting on planes. I went from California, New York, Wisconsin, wherever there was a workshop, Tawanda was in the building. That's one of the reasons why I know a lot of people in the wedding industry right now. And that's why I respect a lot of them, because a lot of them poured into me. Now, I don't eat from everybody's table. I did my research, and you can't eat from everybody's table either. Before you start taking on classes, and before you start trying to take on somebody else's knowledge, do your research. You can't eat from everybody's table. One thing I learned about social media is that they have birthed a platform of educators, because a person can go out and do one workshop and do one wedding and they think they're educators. So do your research. Number 1 is motivation. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is foundation. Now, how many of you have your businesses are registered with your state, meaning you are open for business? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. You can. But are you a viable business, or are you just operating under a name like I did when my friend asked me to do her wedding, and I came up with the name Sims Elegant Affairs. Because why? I needed to have a name of a business. I needed to have some business cards just in case somebody else asked me to do it. So how many of you are registered? How many of you have viable businesses that is open up? If you're not, it's okay. Remember I said earlier, start from here. Start right now. Open your business. And for those of you who are, kudos to you. You're doing it right, because you need that foundation. You can't build a house without the floor. I don't think. Can you, Mike? I don't think you can. You can't. How you going to build a house and you don't have the foundation laid? I don't know nothing about building houses, so there you go. Trying to stay in your lane. Right? Stay in your lane. And now I'm trying to talk about houses, and I don't know nothing about that. But anyway, open up your business. Register it with your state. Are you an LLC, a corporation, a partnership, a sole proprietor? And if you're not, then that's what you need to do your research on. I can't tell you which one to do. Lorna can't tell you which one to do. You need to talk to a tax advisor, talk with an accountant, and find out exactly how and when you should open up your business. When you open up your business, then you need to get you an attorney. Start talking to an attorney. Start talking to some accountants. Start talking to some marketing people. Now, I hear you saying, Tawanda, well, I'm just starting out. I'm new. I don't have the money for an attorney. I don't have the money for a tax accountant. Well, let me give you a little bit of history, a little bit of a tip. Most attorneys and most tax accountants or tax advisors, they will do consulting. And some of them do that for free. So you pick up the phone, and you call them and you say, hi, my name is Tawanda. I just opened up a business. Brenda Scott says she's an LLC. I just opened up a business. And I need to talk to you. I want to open up a business. And I want to talk to you about what direction I should go in. I don't know if I should be a LLC. I don't know if I should be a corporation. I don't know if I should be a partnership or if I should be a sole proprietor. Can you give me some information on which direction or which entity is best? Now, they're going to talk to you because guess why? Because they're going to hopefully share enough information with you so that you can potentially become a client. If that person shares enough information with you, then guess what? Go see them. Go and see them. Ask them for information. Same thing with an attorney. An attorney will give you free consultation. Talk to them. Right now with us being in quarantine, there's so much free information out here that it's crazy. There are so many workshops and webinars and Zoom this and Zoom that. I mean, it's crazy. Get educated. Last week, Misha put on the speaker last week. She presented a program, two-year tweak, that if you guys didn't jump on it, I don't know what to tell you. Lorna is putting together an academy, an education academy, that if you don't jump on it, I don't know what to tell you. The information is out there. You got the burning, get the learning. Some of you, if you have your businesses, do you have websites? Do you have Instagram pages? Do you have Google? Have you registered your businesses with Google? And if you haven't, then that's where you start. Start now. This is what you do. Identify your purpose for going into business and make it happen. Market yourself. This is the time now to lay that foundation. If you open up your business, if you're running a business, or if you just have a vision about your business and people don't know you exist, then you just, when the camera goes black, they don't know you're out there. If you don't market yourself, you are your brand. If you're not out there on your social media platform, letting people know that you exist, how do they know you have a business? Okay, so the question is, how do you lay the foundation? I just told you. 1, open your business. 2, get on your Facebook page. Are you on social media? Are you on Instagram? Are you posting daily? When's the last time you post? Was it last week, last month, last year, 2016? For you, some of you who have businesses, you have who have social media pages, you have followers, right? I don't care if it's 10 followers, 100 followers, 1,000 followers, or 10,000 followers. Because followers don't make or break you. If you have people that are following you, that are on your page, they need you. They need you to show up. You can pour into those people. You can start right there by educating them about your business and about your brand. When's the last time you post? Do some educational posts. If you're saying, well, Tawanda, I just started, I don't know what to say. You're in this group. You are all the knowledge and educational and speakers, some of the best speakers, Lorna is bringing right to this group. Use this information you're using here, not to copy it. That's not what I'm saying. Know your competition, but don't copy them. Stay in your lane and do you. But take this information, process it. How can I take what I'm learning? How can I take what I'm doing and make mine better, or make mine about me? Go to your page and post and ask them, do a poll. If you haven't posted in a while, and say, hello, followers. I am posting today because it has been a minute. I wanted to reach out to you to find out, to let you know that I'm going to be showing up on my page more often. What is it would you like to hear from me? What is it would you like to hear from Elite Events by Tawanda? Do you want to hear about florals? Do you want to hear about this? Do you want to hear about that? Find out what your followers want. Do a poll on your group. Go on Instagram, post the same poll, or whatever your favorite platform is. Once a day, at least once a day. Post. If nobody responds to you, because they probably won't, because they probably shocked because you post, because you ain't been there in a year. So they probably like, okay, did she just post? Go back the next day. Nobody respond, you can go back and says, thank you to all who responded to my post. You don't know, they don't know if you did it, they did or not. Today, what I'm going to share with you is, I want to share with you about what I've been doing while I'm quarantined. Just show up. Just show up. If people don't know you exist, then how do they know you have a brand? Okay? So my 3 tips is motivation, get your mind right, identify your why, revisit your why, right? Whatever your purpose is, that thing that matters most, that's what you want to capitalize on. That's what you want to build on. That's what you want to get educated on. The thing that matters most in your business. Not all over the place. Even the Bible tells us that you can't be a master over everything. You can try, but you're not going to master. You can't master everything. So you got to figure out what's that one thing that you're good at and master that. When you've mastered that, revisit that why. What's that next thing that I'm good at? Revisit that why. Okay? Motivation. And then the next thing is education. Get educated. You got that burning, get the learning. It's so much information being shared in this group too. It's crazy. Lorna and I met, I think it was back in August, at PB, at Preston Bailey. We're both proteges. We're proteges. We got our certification at the same time. We met, I think it was 2 hours. I knew that Lorna and I was going to be lifelong friends, because after the 2 hours that we kind of hung out together, I think every day after that, we was there for 3 or 4 days. We were inseparable. It was Lorna and a few more of us. We were inseparable. And that's because our spirits connect. And why? Because we're in the people business. We're passionate about your success. Education. Got the burning, get the learning. And the last tip is the foundation. If you're going to be in this wedding industry, if you want to be an asset, want to be successful in this industry, you've got to do it right. You've got to be in it to win it. You've got to open up your business. You can't just do like I did back in 2009 when I just said, Sims Elegant Affairs. And it sounded good because my last name was Sims, and people always told me I was elegant, so why not? Sims Elegant Affairs. I tossed that around and voila, I was a wedding planner. Epic fail. Until I went back, got my mind right, my heart and my mind connected, went off and got educated. When I got educated, got all that certification under my belt, then God laid me on my back because now I had to process it. I was stricken with an aneurysm. And that aneurysm kept me on my back for about 3 months. I had to regroup. But I was sick, but I was in the house. But then I had a chance to reconnect with God to see if this was something that I really, really, really wanted to do. Still working in corporate America. And after 2009, 2010, then I realized all of this happened to me. And then I had that aneurysm. Then I had a chance to regroup, rethink. Is this really something I want to do? Do I want to walk away from my corporate job to do this? And then 2011 is when Elite Events Management Incorporated, which is my business, which is my parent business, was birthed. Sims Elegant Affairs just went away because that was a vision. That was my vision. That's what I was pregnant with. But then I birthed Elite Events Management Incorporated. I was doing management. I do more corporate events than I do weddings. People don't know that because a lot of my corporate events are NDAs. I can't really post them or talk about them, which sometimes I'd be like mad about. But what can I say? What can I say? Thank God for the business. So, motivation, education, foundation. And I want to leave you with this story. And then I'll take some questions. I'll go back and I'll read the notes if that's okay with Lorna. I'll go back and read some of your notes. I don't know if you have any questions. But what I want to do is leave you with this story. I'm reminded of a lady who owned a restaurant. She owned her restaurant for 5 years. Some of you probably saw this story on Success Clip. For 5 years. For 5 years, this lady was paying her landlord for her rent for her restaurant. She finally got to a point in her restaurant where business started to level up. She was happy. She was able to take care of her family. She was able to put some children through school. She was able to start thinking about expanding her restaurant and opening up another restaurant. And then suddenly she gets a visitor. And the visitor hands her an envelope. And when she opened up the envelope, it was a letter from the bank saying that the building that her restaurant was being housed in was being foreclosed. She was devastated. How can this happen? What do you mean being foreclosed? I pay my rent every month to my landlord. Every month I slide my rent under the door. How can I be foreclosed? So she gets on the phone and she calls the bank. And she tells the bank, she says, hello, I am, let's just say Lorna, can't think of the lady's name. And I own a restaurant at 86 Elm Street. And I got this letter today saying that the building is being foreclosed and I got to move out. This is impossible. I have been paying my landlord for 5 years straight, religiously. I've never missed a payment. I've never, ever. She said, ma'am, let me look this up. Got some information. She came back and she said, ma'am, unfortunately, the building, your landlord, you have been paying your landlord? No, she said, fortunately, have you spoken to your landlord? No, I don't need to see him. I pay my rent. Did y'all hear that? No, I don't need to talk to him. I just pay my rent and do my thing. Well, ma'am, your landlord has not paid rent for a long time, paid the mortgage on the building in a long time. It is to a point where the bank has foreclosed on the building and the building is up for sale. There will be an auction for the sale of the building in 2 weeks. She was devastated. What can I do? What can I do? Can I go and talk to the new owner? Can I go and say to the new owner, can I start paying them rent? I can't move. This is my life. This is my livelihood. The lady on the phone told her, ma'am, don't even bother. I wouldn't even bother because it's far too late. You probably need to look for somewhere else to go because it's over. She hung up the phone. She was devastated. What am I going to do? How is this happening? I've been paying my rent. I've been putting my livelihood in this man's hand for years, and I'm about to lose everything. And this lady's telling me, forget about it. It's not worth it. Don't do it. Don't even bother. Your dream is just a dream. It's over. She started making phone calls to some of her family members, telling them what was going on. She decided, you know what? The sale is in 2 weeks. I'm going to show up to that sale. When she showed up to the sale, little did she know that the only people that was at the sale of the building was the banker and her. So the guy started the auction. He started the auction and said, we want to start this bidding off with $10,000. The banker put $10,000. So she said, she raised her hand, $10,100. He said, okay, I'll have $20,000. The banker said $20,000. Then $30,000. Then $40,000. They got up to $50,000. She said, it don't matter to me because I ain't got no money, but this is fun. I'm just going to play along. So they got up to $70,000. When they got up to $70,000, the banker said, $70,500. She said $70,600. The banker took the paper and said, $70,600 going once, $70,600 going twice. Sold to Miss Restaurant Owner. She was floored. I just won this building. What am I going to do? I don't have no $70,000. What am I going to do? They told her, well, you got 30 days to come up with the money. So she goes home. She starts making phone calls. She started making phone calls to family members. I need a loan. I need this. Y'all got to help me. You got to help me. She started getting loans, $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. Till finally, she had the money to buy the building. The building. She started out with the restaurant as a tenant, and now she was the owner of the building. Moral of the story. She went down, she paid it, now she's the owner. Here's the moral of that story. Remember the lady on the bank told her, well, let me go back. The first thing, number one, never put your vision in the hands of someone else. You've got to keep your hands on your vision. It's your dream. You make sure that your dream, your vision, you are in control of your destiny. Never put your destiny in somebody else's hand. That's number one. Number two, never let anybody tell you it's not worth it. Your dream is not worth it. Remember the bank lady told her, man, don't show up. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. If I were you, I would just forget about it. It's over. Forget it. Never let anybody tell you that you can't do it, that it won't happen. Forget about it, especially if they're sitting down. Don't let anybody talk to you about your dream while they're sitting down because they want to sit on your dream. That's number two. And number three, you've got to show up. If she wouldn't have showed up to the sale, she would have lost. She would have lost everything that she had worked for. You've got to show up. So if you're in this thing, if you've got a business and you work in your business, show up. You've got to be visible. If you're already registered, you already got your website and your logo and this, and you're still trying to figure out where do I get my next bride from or my next client for, show up. Show up. You can't sit behind that camera on somebody else's page looking at everything that they do and saying, dang, she bad. Boy, that's a beautiful floral arrangement. Boy, her website is bad. You've got to show up. If you got a website right now, if you got a Instagram page, if you got a Facebook page, what I want to challenge you to do is go, and you haven't posted since Saturday or since Friday, you need to be posting every day, especially now everybody in the world is on social media, including me. My husband tells me I keep my head in my phone. You've got to show up. It's just like if you're looking for a job. If you don't go out there, if you don't get on there and send your resume out, how do they know you're looking? They're not going to come on your door and say, who is it? Job? Bride? Show up. You got to be in it to win it. And if you don't remember anything else that I say, remember this. This is something I used to, when I used to be on Periscope, I used to leave this with my followers. I think they were followers on Periscope. Stay in your lane. Do you. It's okay to research your competition, but don't copy your competition. Learn from them and do you. Do you. When only the best will do absolutely nobody. Just do you. That's my spiel and my water, and I'm sticking to it. You got to show. I needed this thing. All right, any questions? Lorna, do I have time for questions? Any question? I'm going to go back and see if I can read anything. Say hello to everybody. Hello, Lorna. Thank you so much. Yolanda, hello. Hello. Rochelle, hello. Jennifer, thank you for being excited. I'm super excited as well. Misha, that's my girl. Yolanda, good evening. Thank you, Jennifer. You're a gem as well. Bonita, hello. I miss you, Bonita. Jennifer Smart, hello. Rochelle, hello, Rochelle. Sherry Watkins, good evening. Amy Sue, hi. Louisa Optimistic, favored, hello. Amy Sue, I think you reached out. Oh, I don't know. Well, hello, Amy. Suche Fonts, hello. Looking forward to it, Suche. And Amy, we spoke earlier today. Tanya, is it Tina? Tina, that's a pretty name. Good evening. Mary Jetter, oh my God, that's how I started and burned out very quickly, girl. So glad I realized I need to let it all go and niche down. Yes, you do. You need to let it all go. And you need to niche down. And another thing that I didn't add that I want to add right here is that you need to network, guys. And you need, once we are out of this quarantine, network. And let me tell you with me, I'm a networking queen. But one thing I network with, I'm strategic when I network. I love networking with my wedding planners. I love them because when I network with them, I network with them to get some strength and to get some, some pats on the back and, and share best practices with my wedding planner friends, colleagues. But I network with people that are going to bring me business. I network with photographers. If I figure out where y'all hanging out, what y'all got, I'm sorry about that. I think I got lost. With photographers, I network with cake bakers. I network with florists. That's who I network with. Because guess what? They looking for brides. And they can refer me business and I can refer them business. When I'm networking with my wedding planners, we're all looking for the same thing, a bride. So not that I don't want to network with them, but when I network with them, I'm networking with planners for best practices. When I'm networking so that I can get my brand out there and so that people who can know that I exist, I network with the wedding pros that need me and I need them. Take that one if you want to. I have so much that needs to let go. Okay. Hello, Sharon, Victoria, Kimberly, Jennifer. Hi, Deb. Hello, Joy, Mary Roos, Mary Jetter, Debbie. Thank you, Deborah, for writing down the 3 tips. Hopefully they were, you can use them. Hopefully they were okay. Hopefully I was shared enough information or the right information. Jennifer. Okay. Any questions? I don't see any questions. Great information. Thank you so much. I haven't put myself out there though, and you do birthday parties. Rochelle, is your business registered, or you just doing parties just to be doing or you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying just to be doing parties, but you said you haven't put yourself out there. Do you have a viable business? Is your business open? This is great. I have both. I need a web page. Rochelle, what are you waiting for? Get your web page going. Even if you can't afford a full web page right now, do a landing page, sweetheart. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much, Tawanda. Thank you, Lorna, for the valuable information. Valuable. Okay. So let me see. Any questions? Won't he take you through something to bring you to something? Redirecting path especially. Okay. In the beginning of my business, I had the motivation, but was missed the education and foundations. Never too late. Start now. This was meant for me. So glad. Thank you. Cynthia, Tracy, amen. God is great. God is good. God is a God of strange strategies. And God is the God that I serve. So true. Amen. Never let anyone tell you that it's not worth it. Nope. Speak up. Use the Lord. Yes, he's using us. Okay. You got to show up. All right. So I don't see any questions. It seems like everybody is validating what I said. I'm just going to keep scrolling and see if I see any questions. Thank you. These words are golden. You're welcome. I appreciate it. And hopefully something that I shared tonight will help you in your business. This was absolutely great. Questions. What online event school would you recommend? Let's see. This was absolutely great. What online event school would you recommend to get educated and certified in corporate events? Corporate events, not weddings. I would recommend you go through the Bridal Society, even though it's a wedding and events organization, but they train you to be an events planner as well. Now, I got my certification from MPI. I'm a meeting professional. So for MPI, you can look at some of those organizations. I'll list some, but my certification is through MPI, and I'll list that information in there for you if you want to be a certified corporate event planner, which is a meeting planner. Thank you for blessing us this evening. Do you have your go-to scripture to share when you just can't see past the trials you are facing? My go-to scripture is, God is able to provide and sustain. I'll list it. But the one that I always quote every morning is, God is an amazing God. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Nothing I can't do through Christ that strengthens me. That's my go-to, because sometimes you do get caught up, and especially when you're trying to look in somebody else's stuff and you feel like your stuff is not good enough, then you're gonna start saying, okay, this is not good of me because her stuff is better than mine. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, that strengthens you. That's right. That's who I'm speaking. That's who I'm speaking. Wedding Pros networking is vital. Thank you so much. I'm revamping now after 40 days in the end. 40 after 40 of the industry. Do you mean 40 of the industry? I'm not sure. My favorite, never put your vision in someone else's hand. Thank you. Never, ever. Because your vision is your vision. God gave you your vision. God told you to write that vision down. You can write that vision down, and you can let someone else execute it, because I'm the visionary for Elite Events by Tawanda, and I have a team of people that are around me that executes my vision. But you best and be sure that I'm right in the midst, and I know exactly what's happening. I stay in my lane, but I do not. I stay in my lane, and I make sure that they stay in their lane, but I'm the visionary, and I make sure that whatever is happening with my vision gets executed, because at the end of the day, it's my brand, and it's my vision. I have everything big, registered and got my EIN number. Very good, but not sure what to do next. I wed last December. Registered and got your EIN number, but not sure what to do next. Have you done an event? Are you marketing your business? Do you have a website? If you don't have a website yet, get your website going. If you don't have a social media, get on Instagram, get a business page, or on, not a fan page on Facebook, a business page. And ladies and gentlemen, for some of you who have Instagram pages and Facebook pages, if those pages are private, what's the point? Make those pages public so people can find you. QC Event School is good. I thought about that one. I actually know somebody with QC Event School, but who is actually an instructor for QC Event. So thank you, Rochelle, for that. That's what I was trying to think of. She's actually an instructor, and she was actually a part of my Let's Plan conference in 2017. So that's a very good one, QC Event. So back to Albina. You need to market yourself. You need to start networking. You need to start showing up on social media if you're not doing so. I don't know. A lot of people say get business cards. I do e-card. I have an electronic card now, but you can get you some business cards. Get you some 4x6 cards. And when we're out of quarantine, I remember this is back in the day. I'm not saying that I'm established now, but most of my business now comes from word of mouth. But when I first started, I used to get a 4x6 card like this. And I had my information, and I would on this particular Friday afternoon or Saturday, I put in, there's this app called Around Us. I would put florists in my area, and I would get in my car and I would drive to every florist, and I would walk into the florist like this and said, because I got a gift gab, and I used to, and I used to run back in my corporate days a medical staffing firm. So I was in charge of sales, recruiting, hiring people, training people, developing people. So I knew how to get to the decision makers. So I would walk in and say, wow, this is a beautiful flower. Wow, this shop is amazing. And now what am I doing? I'm making them feel like they got it going on. This is amazing. Is the owner here? And they would say, yes, I'm the owner. Oh, my God, I can tell you the owner. Look at you. You're awesome. You're amazing. I love your shop. She's like, well, thank you. And what's your name? And dress me. I'm dressed the part. I don't just show up any kind of way. I'm dressed to the nine. I'm looking like my brand. It's my business, so I dress like it. So when I walk in, they see me. They see I'm about my business. You can't just show up looking any kind of way. She's like, well, how can I help you? Well, I'm Tawanda Sims, and I'm an event planner. I'm a wedding planner, and I'm located in Fort Lauderdale. And I wanted to come out, and I wanted to drop some information off to you because I have a bride. One day I will. I have a bride that's going to be looking for a florist. And I thought about your business. I was driving by, and I saw your business, and I wanted to drop off some information for you. Now, guess what? I just opened up the door. Because I told her, I have a bride. It's going to be a win-win for all of us. I have a bride that I want. Hold on a second. Django. Come here, Django. I'm sorry, guys. Come here, Django. Get in here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to quiet my dog. So I have a bride. So now it's a win-win situation. So I would go out and pass out my cards and I made it fact. I'm not going home until I've reached 25 florists. I don't care how tired. I'm going to reach out 25 florists. Lo and behold, these florists start calling me. If a bride walks in, I'll definitely give you information. Why? Because I didn't make it about me. I made it about them. That's a sales tip. I can do a sales training another time of how to get in front of the decision maker, how to make them think. I used to walk in with bags of popcorn and leave it. Didn't even want to talk to anybody. I would have a bag of popcorn with my card on it and say, just popped in to say hello. And I would walk into the girl and say, who's the manager? Oh, she's in the back. She's busy. That's okay. Can you give her this? Just popped in to say hello. When they see that, they was like, that's unique. Or I will go in with a bag of nuts and say, going nuts trying to meet you. I would do little things like that to get in front of the decision maker, not in front of the staff. I wanted to get in front of the decision maker. But again, I can do some sales training. Where do you see events going after pandemic is over? Very good question. This is my take on where the events are going after the pandemic is over. This is just my take on it. It's not written in stone. This is Tawanda's brain. I 100 honestly believe that the event industry, the wedding industry is going to come back strong. I truly do. Why? Because look at all the brides that had to postpone their weddings. Some of them postponed for later in the year. Some of them postponed for 2021. So I truly believe that when this pandemic is over, we're going to come back strong. However, what I think is that we're going to be one of the last industries to bounce back. And here's my reason why. True story. I am a part of Connect USA. I was on a webinar last week with hoteliers and with wedding planners and meeting planners meeting planners from all over the world via Connect USA. These hoteliers are very hesitant about opening up their doors to conferences, workshops, weddings with guests more than 50 people. They're concerned about it. Because if they do, somebody comes in, they're concerned about social distancing. You got a conference of 200, 300 people. You got a wedding of 200, 300 people. They don't want that liability. So most of them, and this is from my webinar last week to y'all, most of them have been told by their corporate office, and I've had people on there from Marriott, hotel, all over. They have been told to hold off on large events until 2021. You heard that from me, but you better not drop my name and tell them I told y'all. That's where. So I think we're coming back strong, but we're going to be one of the last industries to actually come up out of this. Okay. Hello, I'm not sure how to label what I do since I do some of everything. Okay. You do some of everything. My specialty is playing games at parties. I love to decorate and take pictures also. So you do parties. That you love, your specialty is playing games at parties. So do you mean, are you hosting parties? So if I'm having a birthday party, if I'm having a baby shower, you're the host, and you love to decorate and take pictures. So what you got to do, Deborah, is you got to figure out of all three of those things, what matters most. What do you love? Out of all three of those things, I mean, playing games at parties, it sounds like to me that you're an host, an MC, that you are I have a program director that takes care of that. You love to decorate and take pictures. Those are two different industries. You're either going to be a photographer or you're going to be a decorator. So you have to decide where your love is. What do you really love doing? Because to do all three of those, to decorate and now got to take the photos and you got to and then you got to be the host. You got a lot of stuff going on, but you got to figure that out. Sounds interesting. You are a blessing. And I would love to know where you land, Deborah. So keep me posted or keep Lorna posted. How did you research workshops online to attend in person? So what I did when I first how do I now? Well, when I first started, what I would do is, because I was very green to the wedding industry, I had no clue. I didn't even know who to call to ask, because I remember I was helping my friend out. I just went online and I Googled. I started out with wedding planners in Fort Lauderdale to see who came up in the top. And then after all those names was foreign to me, then I started putting wedding workshops, wedding conferences, wedding seminars, and then things like Wedding Wire started popping up. The Knot started popping up. Wedding MBA started popping up. Things like that started to pop up. Still had no knowledge about it. I didn't know which one to go to. So I started going to the ones that was here locally first. So Wedding Wire had a 2-day workshop in Miami. That's where I met Lori from the Bridal Society. I went there and spent 2 days there. So Lori, and remember, networking. So when I went to Wedding Wire and I met Lori and started networking with some of those people there, and they were not new in the industry, and I started asking questions. Are there any other workshops? Is Wedding Wire going to be in any other cities? What other workshops have you attended? What other conferences have you attended? And then I got information from the people that I was at that particular workshop with. That's how I started. Then they started telling me, have you heard about Cater Source? Have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? And then I was like, no, you like it? Oh yeah, I went, and it was very informative. So I got on a plane and I went to Las Vegas, and I was at Cater Source. And that's when I met Bisley Vasquez. I met Dana, the cake boss. I met David Tater. I met Salami. And because I attended all their classes, but I connected with them. I didn't just go just to say I was going. I went because I was there to learn. I was thirsty. I wanted to learn this industry because I love the industry. So when I would go into their workshops, I went right down front to the first row, first seats. One workshop I went in, they had to ask me to move. Say, ma'am, this is for the speaker. Oh, sorry. Can I sit here? Because I wanted to learn. I was thirsty. Then after I left there, then out in Las Vegas, I started networking and started asking questions. Then they said, did you hear about Connect USA? Did you hear about this? So that's how I got started. I'm in the Sarasota area. Jennifer, I was born and raised in Sarasota. Girl, I'm from Sarasota. Okay, Jennifer Smart, I got to see who you are. Do you hold seminars and conferences? Yes, I do. My first conference was in 2017. It's called the Let's Plan Conference. That was the conference that I did for wedding professionals. Now, let me say this about holding conferences for wedding pros. I did it. It was successful. It was my first time doing it. It was a lot of work. I think I told Lorna about this. It was a lot of work. We brought in Bisley Vasquez. I brought in Slamik. I brought in some of the top industry experts to come in and teach wedding planners, new wedding planners, how to find, get, and keep their wedding business. Let's Plan Conference 2017. It was successful. Timeline Genius, Eddie Babbage came. I mean, I wanted to bring in some of the top industry experts, and I reached out to them because, remember, they poured into me, and I connected with them, so they didn't have a problem with coming to share with the wedding planners. But I did it. It was amazing, but there was a void. This is when I talk about staying in your lane. There was a void. I did it, and I know a lot of planners were probably mad at me and upset with me because I did it that first year, and the first year I did it, after that first year, and it was phenomenal. You can see the reviews, and I got the receipts. It was phenomenal. But I quickly learned that the wedding planners, educating the wedding planners, was not my audience. So in the middle of planning Let's Plan Conference 2, which was 2018, I flipped the script and I created the Let's Plan Wedding and Bridal Extravaganza. I now hold a conference to educate newly engaged couples the why before you buy. I don't teach them how to plan their wedding. I teach them what they need to know, not me. I bring in the educators. What they need to know to make educated buying decisions. They have to understand that their weddings are investments. And you don't just want to hire any Joe Blow to do your wedding because you only get one time to get it right. So that's what I've done. So last year, I did my first Let's Plan Wedding and Bridal Extravaganza. And we did it, and 300 brides showed up. I knew then when I was sitting there and I watched the brides and the grooms and the tears and how the speakers was pouring into them. We did a mock wedding. I knew that was my claim to fame. So yes, I do conferences. Now, as far as teaching and educating wedding professionals, Misha's on here. 2-year tweak. Lorna is putting together an academy. I highly endorse that. I highly endorse it. You in Sarasota, Misha is event is an online course. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of online courses. But you're in Sarasota area, that's my homegirl. I'm gonna have to take care of her. Let's see. I've done events such as shower setup, and of course, game for how I've done this. Okay. Do you use an app to track your inventory, or you use Excel? I use Excel. I don't use it. Madison uses it. She's my assistant. She's my intern turned assistant. Hey, lady, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, Paula. I miss seeing you on Periscope. Hey, I was just telling them about how I used to come on Periscope and do Business Blast Friday. I used to come in dancing, y'all. I used to come in being quite a complete nut. Paula was on there. I believe that also. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello. It does work. I had postcard-sized business cards made up with the picture of my work and put my business and went out back up as a follow. Wow. Oh, my God, 2021. Scary. Yeah, it's scary, but it's true. I heard about that in LinkedIn. What client management training systems do you recommend? What? Hold on a minute. What client management training systems do you recommend? This is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what I use, not because I don't want to share it, but what I want you to do is to check out 2-Year Tweak, because she has a program, and I think you can go in and watch because I think I've used them all. I've tried all of them. You name it, I've tried it. Why? Because if it doesn't work for me, I keep moving. I try the next one because I'm not a techie person. I'm not the techie. That's why I had to bring in an intern who is phenomenal. Her name is Madison, and Madison did all the research. I had Madison checking out things like that went from Owl Planner to time. You name it, we've checked it out. So what I want to suggest, how can I start to network? What I want to suggest is that you do the research, because it's really going to depend on what works for your business. Sharonda, are you running a business right now? What's your take on hiring a business coach? Do it. If you feel you need it, do it. I hired one. I have a business coach. I have one. If you really feel that you need it, hire one, because they'll keep you on track and you get someone. And my business coach was a coach that was not in the wedding industry, because I needed somebody who was not in the industry, because I wanted them to be hard on me and not to, not just to tell me things that I wanted to hear because they was in the industry too, or you know what I'm saying. So I got somebody who's not in the industry. His name is William McCormick. What's your take on? Okay, how can I start to network? Start. What you can do, well, right now we're quarantined, so there's a lot of free networking webinars and stuff that are out here now. But what you can do is there are organizations like NACE. That's the one that I'm a member of. There is NACE, and there's a few more of them that you can probably start there, so that if you want to network with your peers. So you can start with that. And you might want to join some other organization. I think I wrote some of them down. Hold on a minute. Because a girl asked me, and I was mentoring a girl today, and she was asking me about some. I wrote it down. I'll list it. Let me make myself a note to list some other organization. I know there is NACE, and I'm a member of quite a few of them, but NACE is one where that I'm active. I put it that way. How can I start? Can I start to network? Somebody else wants to network. So start there by joining some organizations. And if you don't want to join right now, some of them have free networking. Well, not free, but you can pay to go to their networking night. They do it like once a month, and you can meet there, and you can go and just start networking with people. And then once you network with them, then start asking if you know some photographers or some cake bakers or some florists. Hang out where they hang out. Go where whoever your ideal client is. That's where you want to hang out. From Louis, do you know any seminars or conferences from Louisiana? Do you know any seminars or conferences here? No, I don't, but I can tell you that there is a organization called Planners Lounge, plannerslounge.com. Plannerslounge.com lists every wedding workshop or conference that's happening, viable ones, ones that are good ones. That's another one. That's another place that I found found some workshops. So if you go to Planners Lounge and go to conferences, and if there's anything in your area, it should be listed there. Or Google conferences in my area. Thanks to Tawanda Sims, they can get info about the online course. There you go. Anything education, listen, I'm staying in my lane. Y'all ask me questions that I don't know. I'm not going to make it up. I'm going to stay in my lane, and I'm going to point you in the right direction. That's where I thrive. Okay, I'm enrolled already. Can't wait. Start the 2-year tweak. Very good for you. Yes, I have a business, but I've learned fairly quickly that to all of the seasoned professionals that I still have a lot to learn. So yes, I have a business, but I've learned fairly quick, thanks to all of the seasoned professionals, that I still have a lot to learn. We all have a lot to learn. Some of us seasoned professional have a lot to learn. You never stop learning. Start where you are. Start with what you know. There's one thing that you need to know or that you really want to know, start there. Start doing the research on that one thing that you are inquiring about, because we all have a lot to learn. Not just the vets, not just the newbies, but the vets as well. I'm a student of learned behavior. I love learning. I'm always researching new stuff. So just because the vets are telling you have a lot to learn, we all have a lot to learn. Right, Paula, Jacob? Right, Bonita? Right, Lorna, Misha? We all have a lot to learn. All right? Looks like that's all the questions. I hope I wrote them all down. For the questions that I couldn't or didn't answer, I heard about that on LinkedIn. Okay, I would definitely write down some organizations that you can join, or I'll give them to Lorna and let Lorna put them in the group for you. And what else did someone else want to know? I think that's it. So guys, Lorna, is there anything else that I hope I served you well? It was my absolute pleasure to come and share my little bit of insight on what it means, or what I think you should stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Got the burning, get the learning. Stay motivated. Revisit your why. Why are you doing this? And get educated. Thank you so much. Looking forward to connecting with you. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lorna. Love you. Remember, guys, thank you very much. Be blessed and stay safe. You guys stay safe. Don't let the hype fool you. Stay in the house. They're opening up states around. They're opening up cities. Don't let them fool you. Wait until the bugs are gone before you get out there meandering around, because we stand in the house. My husband already said we're not going out there. We stand right here in the house. All right? You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Lorna. It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys have a fabulous evening. Stay safe.